Community Season 1 premiered September 17, 2009 on NBC and has become a sleeper hit after its initial release. This isn't to say that it was not popular at the time, as it was up there during the times when big NBC sitcoms like The Office and Parks and Rec, which are more widely regarded and well known. But after some unfortunate occurrences behind the camera about halfway through the show's run, everything changed. The show has now been appreciated by a newer audience after its resurgence on streaming services like Netflix, and is now thought to be way ahead of its time as to what a TV sitcom could look like. This review is going to specifically cover Season 1. Now, this is my second time watching Community, and the first time I watched was when we were in the midst of the pandemic, and we had been locked down for months. It popped up on my Netflix account, and I checked out the first episode, and I loved it. It had this odd charm to it, and I continued watching, and I can safely say that Community is easily one of the best comedy shows I've ever seen. This isn't to say there weren't some bumps in the road, but we'll get to those in the future reviews. Truth is, I first watched Community at a time when I needed it the most. So much was uncertain about what was to come in the coming months, and I can easily say that Community got me through some of those darker days just a few months ago. So it feels great to be able to rewatch the show with a new perspective. Now, Season 1 feels very different from the rest of the show in hindsight. Season 1 focuses a lot on the relationships these characters all have with each other. The introduction we get works well, although feels a little bit rushed, and there was a time skip in the second episode, so they get a chance to get to know each other a bit off screen, which makes the relationship, I guess, feel a bit fleshed out, considering they had spent more time together. Now, majority of the episodes this season are based around the relationships between Jeff and Britta, or Jeff and Annie, or Jeff and Slater, or Jeff and Chang, or Jeff and Pierce, or Jeff and, well, himself. Jeff is easily the central and main character of this season, and Joel McHale is fantastic in the role of Jeff Winger. The witty, sarcastic, self-deprecating, and narcissistic wannabe lawyer is a great central character to be surrounded by other characters who are all so absurd. Jeff works as the main character because he's the most normal and can be surrounded by other characters that can be a little crazy. Jeff is like the Michael in Arrested Development, or Jim from The Office, in that all the craziness stems around him. Although with Jeff, you get to see some really introspective and philosophical questions that no other sitcom has ever done before. It is all done in such an interesting way that really adds to the charm of this show, as there are lessons to be learned in each episode about ourselves, the way we act, the way we think and interact with one another. It all comes down to the phenomenal script written by Dan Harmon and his fantastic team of writers who nail the personalities of these characters effortlessly. They all have things unique about them that make them great candidates to take deep dive into certain issues and personal topics, like Jeff Winger, the man who could have had it all but is now eating at the kids' table. Britta Perry, played excellently by Gillian Jacobs, the social justice warrior more concerned about trying to be perceived as something she's not to get on the good side of, herself. Britta is a great character in my opinion. Is she always the funniest? No, but she gets great lines that work even today with the rise of social justice action being taken all over the place, that I think the writers did such a good job making her character speak on topics in a satirical way, in mostly subtle nods to the audience. She has so many great one-liners that just work for her character. She may not be the funniest, but she's one of the best written. Annie Edison, the girl whose life sucked in high school and is now trying to cope with adult life in college. Annie is a character that you just can't help but love due to the wonderful acting by Alison Brie, who gives a great charm to the screen every time she's on. I think she's got some underrated funny moments in the later seasons, but in Season 1, she mainly serves as the child in the group, not really understanding the intricacies of adult life. She's also a really well-written character, and hints of how her past might be affecting the way she acts today, done by more fantastic writing. I'll have more to say about Annie as we get further through the show, but Alison Brie is awesome, and so is Annie. Troy Barnes, the guy who had it all in high school and is now just kind of vibing. Troy is played by Donald Glover, also known as Childish Gambino, and my god, he is hilarious. His comedic timing and improv skills are fantastic, as it seems to me that when watching the episodes, a lot of Troy's best lines seem improvised, and when they aren't, the writers make such good jokes for him to say that just fit his character so well. He's a lovable goofball who's kind of an idiot, but that makes him great, and he adds so much charm to the show. He's got great charisma, and he's funny as hell. I definitely say at this point of the show, Donald Glover had the best acting this season. He's really nailed the persona of Troy, and he's got great comedic timing. Pierce Hawthorne, what the hell is he even doing here? Pierce, in my opinion, is one of the best characters in the entire show, and he feels like he bonds the group together in giving someone to consistently rag on and hate. Chevy Chase is great in the role, but the great parts about Pierce come from his lines. Every joke is racist, homophobic, or offensive in some way, but the show pulls it off so effortlessly due to them not only being hilarious jokes in that not what he's saying is funny, but it's so obviously offensive that it's funny he'd even say it. But also, Chevy Chase's delivery and innocence to what he says, as if nothing he says is wrong, is brilliant and works for the stereotypical old white American who won't change his ways. He's an excellent character in my eyes. Then we got Abed Nadir. Season 1 does not even break the surface of what we're going to see of Abed. In all honesty, he just used as a plot device to spew meta-ness at the screen, and for a first time watching, you kind of get his gimmick, but it doesn't really become obvious and start to work as well until season 2, where the show hones in on what everyone knows it to be today. Like I said, season 1 of Community feels a lot more personal, emotional, and dramatic compared to the rest that I can remember. But that gives it more of a special charm and really lets you begin to love these characters, which is integral because building these fantastic characters makes all the crazy wild shenanigans of the future seasons pay off even better. I can't forget about Ben Chang and the Dean, who take the backseat as side characters most of this season, but just the little glimpses we get of them are fantastic, and I can't wait to get back into the episodes where they become more central characters. I can't even be bothered to talk about Shirley at this point. She kind of annoys me and has no really standout plot lines or jokes or lines that I truly care about. No disrespect to Shirley, but she just ain't it this season. As far as the episodes themselves, there's nothing really groundbreaking here. Each episode is relatively calm and balanced in tone and what it's trying to say about a certain topic or character, but like I said, the majority of the episodes revolve around characters rather than the plots. Towards the end of the season, there are some straight bangers though. My favorites of the season are the episode with the rat that Troy and Abed have to sing to, the chicken finger episode parodying Goodfellas and The Godfather. I love the Scorsese type way that this episode is directed and filmed. It holds up so well on a rewatch when you catch all the hidden details. It's incredible. Another great episode is Modern Warfare, which obviously is regarded as one of the best episodes by fans, and I loved it the first time I watched it. And it truly set the stage for what Community would become. Some other episodes I love are Comparative Religion, where they have some great jokes about all the types of religion going to Shirley's Christmas party. Another episode I really like is the one where Annie and Shirley become security officers during April Fools. Like I said, nothing truly groundbreaking here like we see in the future seasons. However, there are some exceptions here and there. Look, when it comes down to it, this season is carried by how well written and acted each of these characters are. The plot lines are carried by their charm and wit, and on top of that, you've got some actually interesting stories to tell about these characters, and some genuinely funny situations they've been put in. Abed's "don't use the condoms" joke is probably one of the funniest ones this season, and that entire episode really is hilarious, but it's what makes Community so special. Well, those are my thoughts on Community Season 1. I hope you'll join in next time when we discuss Season 2. Thank you for listening. See you guys next time.